Hi everyone, long time no see. I say that I'm going to come back to YouTube and then make like 2 or 3 videos and then disappear again. So today I wanted to talk about some things that you can do during this time, during self-isolation, if you are a travel lover, because it doesn't really need explaining that we can't travel anywhere at the moment, which I know sucks, and like I'm really sad about it. I have already missed one holiday that I was meant to be going on, and I've had another one booked for May, the start of May, which is very unlikely going to happen now. Like, it's not going to happen. Obviously it's really sad, but obviously it is the best thing, and it would be very irresponsible for travel to still be going on at the moment. So I figured there's probably quite a lot of people feeling the same way, so I thought I would talk about some of the things that you can do during this time if you're, like me, a travel lover. One thing that you can do that I definitely need to get onto is sorting out all of your travel photos, or like just sorting out your photos in general. My camera roll on my phone is like at 8,000 pictures or something ridiculous, and I just need to have a big clear out. But I also need to go through the holiday photos that I've taken and put them somewhere, upload them into like a Google Drive or something so that I have them to refer to easily. I've definitely made the mistake in the past of not sorting things out properly and then losing pictures when I've like got a new phone or damaged my phone and not had them backed up. So yeah, you could take some time to do that, but you could also go a little step further and you could put your pictures into a scrapbook if you've got some way of printing them out, or you could use an app like Photobox to put them all into a photo book, and then you can like send off for that to be printed out. I've never done it before, but I've seen other people's ones and they look so cool. So I've seen online that quite a few attractions are offering virtual tours at the moment. I've also seen things like a virtual trip to watch the Northern Lights. I've seen a zoo in Australia, I think, like that was showing koalas on just a continuous live stream. I watched a bit of that. That was so cute. So you could use this time to virtually visit somewhere that maybe you've always wanted to go, or somewhere that you've never heard of before. Discover somewhere new, and then maybe when this is all over you'll want to go and see it for yourself. You could also just use the time to similarly watch lots of travel vlogs or other travel related content. As I said, I missed my holiday that I was meant to be going on at the end of last month. I was meant to go into Bratislava, and I did spend a bit of time over those couple of days just like looking at photos of Bratislava and watching vlogs of Bratislava. Some of my current favourite travel YouTubers that I watch include Stephen and Jess from Fly in the Nest. I really like them. Cara and Nate I watch quite a bit of. Hey Nadine. I watch Christiane from Backpacking Bananas. On a similar note, you could find new travel influencers to follow in terms of blogs, also on Instagram. I love filling my Instagram feed with so much travel related content. If watching things and sort of visual content is your sort of thing, there are also TV shows that are travel themes that you could choose to watch. So my current absolute favourite programme is back on at the moment, Race Across the World. It's a British TV show. I think there's something similar in America, but I've not seen it. I absolutely loved the first season, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like this one because it follows like a different route. So basically the first season they started in London and they had to get all the way from London to Singapore. They're given the cost of an airfare, so it's like £1,200 or something each. They're in pairs, and they have to get all the way there without flying just for the cost of an airfare. So they can work a few jobs along the way to earn some money, but they have to do it all by like public transport, and the money that they get has to last them the whole time. And it's basically a race to see which of the pairs can get there the quickest. And I just find it so interesting, like getting to see all these places, seeing how they sort of navigate their way through the different cultures, and having to communicate with people to find out the quickest routes to different places. So that was the first season, and the one that's currently on at the minute, they started in Mexico and they've got to get all the way down to the bottom of Argentina. I would also recommend Dark Tourist. Basically this guy goes to all these places that are dark tourism hotspots. An example is he goes to Benin. I worked on a guidebook to Benin last year, so I was interested in it because of that, and he goes and he learns about the voodoo culture there. But he also goes to places in the UK, the States. I think he goes to some other places in Asia. It was just really interesting to learn about a new country and different aspects of their culture and what tourists or visitors might go and see there in each episode. If reading is more your thing, there are loads of travel related things that you can read, and there's different pathways that you can go down with that. So first of all, there's like traditional travel literature that I guess is more like travel writing, travel narratives about people's experiences on the road or while they're traveling. So as a like shameless plug, my company Brat Guides, we have quite a few travel anthologies based around different themes. So we have one called To Oldly Go, which is more about the older generation traveling. We have Kidding Around, which is tales of travel with children. We have Roam Alone, which is all about inspiring tales of solo travel. We have Beastly Journeys, which is about travel with animals, and we also have lots of individual accounts of different travel experiences as well. One that we published this year was about a guy and his journey along the Indus River, so I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. So if you're just interested in reading about different people's travel experiences, then there's always stuff that you can find. You can pretty much, I reckon, put in like any country into Google and search for books about it and you'll probably find something. Aside from the travel narratives that I just mentioned, there's also other sorts of travel books. I've just got a selection here that I just pulled off my shelf. I haven't read any of these yet, so I will be having to make my way through them during this time. So first of all, I've got this. It's called The Atlas of Happiness, Global Secrets of How to Be Happy, and it talks about 33 international happiness concepts. So what happiness means in different countries around the world. I picked it up because it sounded like it would be really uplifting and just something really positive, and to be honest, I might try and get through this during this time because it can be mentally exhausting and draining and just, yeah, not good for the brain. So something like this might be a really nice pick-me-up that I can turn to if I'm feeling a bit down. I also have this, Worth Dying For by Tim Marshall. This is all about flags and the power and politics behind them. I just thought this would be really interesting. I've had this for quite a while and haven't got round to it, so I'll have to try and pick it up soon, but I'm a massive fan of flags. One of my friends literally knows every single flag of the world. She's amazing. I'm not that good, but I aspire to be. That was more political, but something I have that's a bit more historical is The New Silk Roads by Peter Frankopan. I am really interested in the Silk Road. I went to Kyrgyzstan a couple of years ago. I really want to go to Uzbekistan. It was on my list for this year, but I'm not sure if I'll get there now. But yeah, anything to do with that sort of area of the world I'm really interested in. And the last one that I have here is Atlas Obscura. This is more of like a coffee table book. It's massive. This is about like the hidden destinations from around the world, hidden gems, things that you might not have heard of, and I thought that this would be really cool to just like open, read about something new, and then maybe you could be really crazy and like turn to a random page and just be like, oh yeah, and then make it your like goal to go there. Something else that I wrote down, which I guess could be related to books and reading, is to just try and learn something new about a country or a culture that you didn't know before. I think it would be so fun to like, maybe this is because I'm a bit of a nerd as well, but I think it would be so fun to just like pick a country, even somewhere that you've just never heard of or know nothing about, and just be like, I'm gonna do a project on that and like research the culture, research the best places to go. You could even like go all out and turn it into like a proper little mini travel guide. Just learn something new and it might inspire you to go there. You could also use this time to learn or develop a language. If you have some like fluency in a language, maybe try reading a book in that language or watching a film in that language. Or you could just try and learn a completely new language altogether. If you're planning on going somewhere, why not to use this time to learn, even if it's just like a couple of sentences of that language, so that when you're there you can like interact a little bit with people. People really appreciate it when you speak to them in their native language. If you're a bit more creative, you could get some travel related crafts going. I am gonna leave it up to your imagination in terms of like painting and drawing, because I'm doing painting by numbers and that is my limit. But I do know that there's like specific crafts out there that you could get. I have a travel related cross stitch. It's literally like a map of the world and you can like fill in the countries that you have been to. Something else creative that you could do is cook or bake something from a different country, depending on what you can get in your local supermarkets. That I know is going to be the drawback, but look up a recipe from somewhere around the world, somewhere you've been to or somewhere completely new, and give it a go. There are also a couple of travel themed games out there, so if you're not by yourself and you're living with other people, you might want to play things like Mapomenos. That's always really fun. There's one that I have at home called Flags of the World, where you basically have to guess which flag the country's from, and as I said, I'm quite good at flags, so I'm pretty good at it. My parents, terrible, they hate playing it with me, and I make them play it every year when I go back at Christmas. There's also things that you can do yourself, like on Sporkle, the quiz website. There's a few quizzes on there actually. There's one that you literally just have to name every country of the world. There's one where you have to name like every flag. It's great if you're a nerd, a geography nerd. The name of your country of the world one is just like, but you'll get so frustrated because there's always a couple and you just can't remember, and then you see the answers and you're like, and there's also just loads of things going around at the moment that I've seen, like quizzes where you have to name countries of the world, but they've been done like using emojis. And the final one is to just plan for the future and plan for your future travels, because everything I know is so uncertain and horrible and scary even at the moment, but we will travel again, and I know you might be having to like cancel things because they just can't go ahead anymore, but instead of just saying, well, that's not going to happen, just plan it anyway. Like, if you tell yourself that you're going to do it eventually, and you will do it, then there's no reason not to plan for things. I'm meant to be going on a trip to Georgia in September. I'm hoping that doesn't get cancelled. Obviously, I hope all this is over by then. The reason why I'm thinking it might not be is because it's like a group tour, and I know that like not enough people to have the trip confirmed had booked onto it before this all happened, and I just don't think people are going to be booking onto it now. So by the time it's over, is there going to be enough time for enough people to have booked on? I don't know, but I'm going to plan like Georgia and like look into things to see and do there, although I know quite a few anyway, but I'm gonna like do some more research on it just as if it's happening, because I know that I will go. It's like top of my bucket list. I know that I will go even if I don't get to go in September. Me and my friend Emma are planning on going to Japan next April, and we're still gonna plan for that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna buy our flights as soon as they become available. Think about like where you want to go. I appreciate that it's really difficult to put dates to things at the moment, but if you just have plans, it's something to look forward to, even if you don't know when it's going to happen. If you need any help with your planning, I'm going to use this opportunity to do another shameless self-plug. So as I mentioned before briefly, I am an editor at an independent travel guide publishing house. The company is called Brat Travel Guides. We publish guides to loads of places, a lot of off the beaten track destinations, a lot of Africa, some of Central Asia, but we also have a whole series on the UK called Slow Travel Guides, as well as activity-based guides, wildlife guides, and all the travel narratives and literature that I mentioned before. As I'm sure people know, the travel industry has been hit pretty hard by everything that's going on at the moment, and obviously I know that a lot of other businesses and industries are being hit as well. At the moment, everything with the company is just focusing on trying and hoping that we get through to the other side so that we can all go back to work and that we can all have jobs, and also keep the company going. It's been going for nearly 50 years now, and I just think it's an amazing company and I love working there. If you are interested, we are offering all our guides at the moment for half price on our website using the code DREAM50. I would really appreciate any support that anyone feels like they're able to give. So to just give you a little flavour, these are some of the books that I have here at the moment. So as I mentioned, I'm going to Georgia hopefully this year, so I will definitely be using this to research from. Also have Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia. We have all of the Central Asian stands other than Turkmenistan, and we did do that, but it's out of print now. Actually, all these photos here are all mine that I took when I was in Kyrgyzstan, and then they got put in the new edition, which is quite cool. We also, as I said, have a lot of African guides. Benin, as I mentioned before, I worked on this guide. I so want to go to Benin. It's like, I feel like I say everything is at the top of my list, but it's really high up there. So I also worked on this one, and I was going to be taking this with me, Bratislava. We have, as I said, loads of others as well. And yeah, if you're planning, or if you're not planning and you just want to read something interesting about a country, like for example, we have a guide to North Korea, and a lot of people are always like, why do you have that? But a lot of people are interested in learning about North Korea. Our guides have like a whole section that's basically context, so even if you're just interested in learning about a country, I would recommend checking them out as well. Thank you as well if you do go over and check us out. That means a lot. I literally just put the camera down and realised there was something else on that I wanted to say, so I'm going to add it now. And it was that I would highly recommend that you try and use this time, if you can, to save for travel. I have a set amount of money that I transfer from my current account onto my Monzo card every month as like personal expenditure, I guess. So anything that I'm doing in that week, I try and use the Monzo card and that money that I've set aside for myself. But at the moment, I'm barely like using any of it, so I'm taking anything left over and putting it straight into a separate pot on my Monzo card. If you have Monzo, you can make pots, and you can also make like savings accounts. So the one that I have has a 1.1% interest rate. I've named it travel, and that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use it for travel. So I would definitely recommend, if you can, and if you're finding that you have a little bit more spare money at the moment, then if you are in the position to, consider putting it towards funds for future travels, because I know that I'm going to feel so good when I come to book my next holiday, probably my flights to Japan, and realise that I don't have to stress about it because I've got a set bit of money put aside for it already, which I never normally do. But yeah, that's everything for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments where you would like to travel to and what's top of your list, the first place that you're going to be going when this is all over. Other than that, I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and staying positive. I will see you again soon. Bye.